This is looking down into your cranium after the skull cap has been removed from a superior view. We can see the bones from this angle. So for example, the occipital bone would be right here. We can see the temporal bone located right there. We can see the frontal bone. We can see the ethmoid bone located up here. And so I wanted to just point out that this projection from the ethmoid bone is what is referred to as the crista galli, and that we also see here in a little bit better detail, the cribriform plate. And you should know that the olfactory nerves come up through there and come into the brain, the olfactory bulb right there. This is my sphenoid bone, the butterfly-shaped bone. And so there's actually two sets of wings. This one right up here, this is called the lesser wing. It's a little bit smaller right there, the lesser wing. And then underneath we have the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. So you need to know, this being the sphenoid bone, that you have a lesser wing, which is on top, and then you have a greater wing. You can also see that here that we have holes, and this one right here is kind of interesting. This is where the optic nerve travels from your eyes up, and it's going to kind of cross right here at the optic chiasma, and then it's going to go to your two hemispheres of your brain. So we also have other foramen, and so for example, blood vessels might travel through here. Cranial nerves, we have 12 sets of cranial nerves that actually come off of the cranium and then come out like and innervate, for example, your facial muscles. And so these would be areas where we would have those traveling. There is a structure right here that you need to be able to identify, and this is my sella turcica. So that is another bone marking on the sphenoid bone. And the sella turcica is where we have the pituitary gland. So this is where the pituitary gland sits. Pituitary gland sits. And so that provides some protection for your master control gland. It sits right below your hypothalamus, which is a super important regulatory structure of the brain. This one right here, for example, is a vein that carries blood away from the brain called the jugular vein. The jugular foramen. And then this right here is your internal acoustic meatus. You don't need to know these, but this one right here, that would be the temporal bone. And so that would be where the cochlea nerve travels in order to get into the brain so that you can send nervous signals from your cochlea into your brain and you are able to hear.